In 2000, Netflix approached Blockbuster with an offer. Buy us for $50 million. We'll run your online operation. Blockbuster's executives laughed them out of the room. At that moment, Blockbuster had 9,000 stores, 60,000 employees, and $6 billion in annual revenue. Netflix had a DVD mail service, no profit, and a website. 10 years later, Blockbuster was bankrupt. Netflix was worth billions. This was not arrogance. This was a game theory failure. And from the inside, every decision made complete sense. Blockbuster in 2000 was a machine built to extract maximum value from physical retail, real estate contracts, supply chain logistics, late fee revenue worth $800 million annually. That last number is critical. Late fees weren't a side business. They were structural to how Blockbuster's entire financial model functioned. Netflix was built around one insight. The video rental experience was miserable and nobody had fixed it. No late fees, no travel, no empty shelves. Reed Hastings built a subscription model specifically because it removed every friction point Blockbuster depended on for revenue. The two models were not competitors yet. They were incompatible architectures heading toward the same customer. Blockbuster's real opponent wasn't Netflix. It was its own financial structure. Any serious move toward streaming or subscription meant dismantling the late fee model, which meant explaining to shareholders why profits were about to collapse in exchange for a speculative future. The executives weren't blind. They were trapped. That trap has a name. Move 1. The Laughing Room. When Netflix presented their offer in 2000, Blockbuster's leadership evaluated it rationally against their current reality. A tiny and profitable DVD mail company asking for $50 million. By every conventional metric the meeting used, the answer was no. This is the incumbent's dilemma. Dominant players evaluate threats using the metrics that made them dominant, which are precisely the wrong metrics for assessing disruption. Move 2. The late fee trap. In 2004, under new CEO John Antioco, Blockbuster did something remarkable. Launched Blockbuster Online, eliminated late fees, and began competing directly with Netflix. It worked. Subscribers grew. Netflix's growth slowed visibly. Then Blockbuster's own board removed Antioco. The late fee elimination had cost $400 million in annual revenue. Shareholders revolted. The one move that might have saved the company was reversed by the financial structure it threatened. Move 3. The Icahn intervention. Carl Icahn acquired a major Blockbuster stake and led the campaign against Antioco's strategy, arguing the elimination of late fees was destroying shareholder value. He was correct by every short-term metric. He was catastrophically wrong about which game was being played. Antioco's replacement reversed the strategy. Blockbuster returned to profitability briefly. Netflix resumed full acceleration. The trap closed permanently. Everyone points to 2010, Blockbuster's bankruptcy filing. The visible collapse. It is wrong. The game was already over in 2004. Not 2010 when stores closed. Not 2007 when streaming emerged. 2004, when Blockbuster's board reversed the only strategy that addressed the structural threat in order to protect a revenue model they already knew was expiring. In 2004, the window was genuinely open. Blockbuster had brand recognition Netflix couldn't match, retail infrastructure that could have been repurposed, and a subscriber base already responding to the new model. Antioco had identified the correct move and begun executing it. The system overrode him, not from stupidity, but from the rational self-interest of shareholders protecting short-term returns. By 2007, Blockbuster was executing its recovery strategy with genuine effort toward an outcome decided 3 years earlier in a boardroom vote. Nobody chose bankruptcy. Everybody chose the next quarter. The outcome was what the incentive structure produced when short-term survival and long-term viability stopped pointing in the same direction. You have a Blockbuster moment right now. There is something in your career, your business, or your organization that is currently profitable, currently defensible, and currently preventing you from making the move you already know needs to be made. The late fees in your life, the revenue stream, the identity, the sunk cost, that makes the necessary disruption feel like destruction. What are you currently optimizing that is structurally expiring? What metric are you hitting that is measuring the wrong game? The incumbent's dilemma doesn't require a boardroom. It runs in every person who has built something that works, and now can't afford to break it, even when breaking it is the only path forward. The question isn't whether your current model is working. Blockbuster's model was working in 2004. The question is whether the game your model was built for is still the game being played. Those are completely different questions. Most people never ask the second one until the answer is already irreversible. The principle governing Blockbuster's collapse is the incumbent's dilemma, the game theory structure where dominant players are structurally prevented from disrupting themselves because the assets, incentives, and metrics that created their dominance make the necessary transition rationally impossible from the inside. The formula: the more successfully a system is optimized for the current game, the less capable it becomes of playing the next one. Dominance is not protection. It is exposure to the specific threat that the dominant model cannot absorb without destroying itself. The stronger the position, the more precisely it defines the attack that will end it. The countermove is what the next video will show, the exact sequence used by the players who saw the incumbent's dilemma coming and built their escape before the trap closed. Same principle, same structure, a completely different outcome, because they asked the second question first.